as we start to lose our estrogen, we need to start being super careful about our shoulders, keeping the whole shoulder girdle strong and mobile. We need to be careful about our pelvic floor function and our deep core functioning. We need to be careful about the way we stand. So I'm going to take you through a little sequence here, which we can start to include light weights in this. And this sequence makes sure we turn on pelvic floor, then deep core muscles sequentially, activating glutes, super important, activating our abductors and our adductors, and also helping us to work into the upper back muscles, the back of the arm muscles, get nice and strong and toned to help our posture and just to help the stability of the shoulders. So starting off on hands and knees just to warm up. You might need to rotate the wrists a few times. You can always take a little bit of height under the wrist if you've got sore wrists here. Taking one hand onto the shoulder, drop the elbow down. Now breathe in deeply and lift the elbow, dropping down. Breathing in deeply. So you want to do this 5, 6, 7 times. I'm just going to do it a few times for now. And then lengthen fingers and look down. So we start to open these pectoral muscles and get a good stretch through the shoulders, helping to open up through the rib cage and into the bottom of our lungs. Nice deep full breaths in through the back of your nostrils. And then take some big movements backwards and then stretch that arm out. Drop down, lifting up your tailbone. Drop down, pressure through the little finger edge. You might even lift your thumbs up towards the ceiling to get that stretch right down into the armpits. So take as much time as you need to on that. It's a really great way to open up the thoracic spine. Breathing in on the other side, dropping down. We're looking for the twist right where the bra strap is. With each breath, see if you can get a little bit more rotation. So I'm going to pause there, but you keep going if you want to. As you look down, we stretch into the neck, into the front of the chest, those pec muscles. Big circles. And then lengthen that arm out, maybe thumb up, little finger down. So this external rotation that I'm doing here is what we want to feel in downward facing dog. Fantastic. We're going to start switching our deep core muscles. Tuck toes, drop yourself back. So if you're coming to a plank, this is what you want to do first. Dropping down. We'll start by taking the wrists off the ground. So we stretch underneath the arms. Let your belly be nice and relaxed. Let your pelvic floor muscles be nice and relaxed here. And then come back onto your hands. We're blowing out as if we're blowing out a candle. So come forward, shoulders stop just above the wrists or just above the hand. And you're zipping up. Now my top's dropping down, but I'm drawing my rib cage back up towards my spine here. Come down on the inhale, switching on the exhale. See if you can press between your shoulders up towards the ceiling. That area just below the bra strap up towards the ceiling. Base of the rib cage, sucking upwards. Inhaling, exhaling. So if you're coming into a plank to strengthen, you don't come straight into the plank, you do this first. Breathing out, set pelvic floor, deep core muscles, then taking the knees off the ground, pressing out through the heels. Shoulders nice and sucking back into the sockets, pressing down through the heels of the hands. And you keep feeling as if you're scooping up from the lower belly towards your rib cage in this position. And when you're ready to release, dropping down, wrists off the ground, so you get a nice decent stretch once again, right up into the armpits. Cool, so we're going to do a little bit more on pelvic floor, this time side plank, forearms straight forward. Now important for us, we suck the top of the arm into the shoulder, so this all becomes very active. We want to squeeze our muscles into the bones and then pull back in towards the socket here. So it's not floppy, it's very active. And now pull your elbow and your hip towards each other. So just that little action of pulling towards each other helps the side waist muscles, these are glutes, to activate. We zip up through the pelvic floor, so stopping yourself weeing and then drawing that activation upwards as if you were zipping up tight high-waisted jeans, And on a breath out, we want to see if we can lift upwards and then down. So fast twitch muscle fibers. If we exhale, come up for about a second or two and then down to relax. This is quite strong on the shoulders, so be mindful of that. And then maybe holding it up here, maybe even taking the top leg out and up. Makes it harder. You're still breathing out to keep all of this active, and then coming down. So doing that on both sides. You're going to need to release your shoulders once you've done it on both sides. So elbows out wide, hands together as if you're praying. And then stick your bum up in the sky and drop your chest down. So we release the shoulders and get a squeezy kind of stretch between the shoulder blades. Breathing out here. Making sure that as you breathe out, you release your jaw, you relax your facial muscles. Good. Okay, so we're going to come and do another tummy toning. Also arms. Come with fists on the ground. Elbows slightly bent out to the side, so you're like a gorilla. Now, we're in the wrong top here. You want to draw the base of the ribcage back. So just below the bra strap, it feels like you're pushing up towards the ceiling slightly. And we're going to be breathing out, breaths like that, and it feels like you're stopping yourself weeing and scooping up lower belly towards ribcage. Starting with the elbows wide, tucked toes, shoulders away from ears, chin is tucked in. And then you push your fists into the ground, keep puffing the breath out, sucking upwards through lower belly, and see if you can suck your knees just a tiny bit off the ground. So this is quite strong core activation. Again, you can't, this is happening, so we're going upwards. And that's what we want. Slightly bending the elbows out to the side, so don't lock the elbows, otherwise you'll lose the potential strengthening on your upper back and into your arms. Beautiful. Coming down, when you're ready, releasing. So maybe doing several rounds of that as you get stronger. The next one is coming onto your forearms, and you want to bring your knees together, shoulders away from ears. Now pull your forearms towards your knees and your knees towards your forearms. And just that little action, you'll feel that kind of sucking up. All of this is active already before I even start doing anything. Now take one foot up. We need to make sure the knee doesn't drop down below the bum. So keep it as high as your bottom, and then just squeeze the glute on that side. Doing a donkey kick, heel up towards the ceiling. So we want to activate gluteus maximus here. Big kicking actions. Keep going until you get to fatigue, and then keep going for another one or two afterwards. And then once you're ready, take your toe into your bottom, come up onto one hand, and then just release that hip, release the glute. So I'm going to do this in both directions a few times. Fantastic. So doing that on the other side. So push pause for a moment and then come back. So now we've switched on glutes and we've switched on arms. I'm going to get you to come into camel pose. So take your toes, opening up quadriceps and hip flexors. I like to imagine there is a string attached to my pubic bone and my heart center. And those strings are very gently being wound up towards the ceiling. Now, let your shoulders slide into the back of the sockets, heels of the hands onto the pelvis like so. Start to press knees into the ground and imagine those strings are being winched up towards the ceiling. So we kind of lengthen the vertebrae away from each other. Little sippy breaths up through the heart center. This helps us to align our posture. Fantastic. Now, imagine you have a string from the crown of your head. That string is being pulled up towards the ceiling. Draw the chin in. Now drop the base of the ribcage in. Yeah, so it feels like you're sucking ribs back down. And then just come and kneel for a moment and see if you can feel into that nice aligned posture. Okay, so we're going to work on postural muscles of the back now, and our glutes and our pelvic floor. So I'm going to use these weights, starting off with light weights and then just building up as you get stronger. Elbows want to stay sucking in towards the bottom ribs here. Now we drive up with the glutes. So we're going to drive up, breathing out to activate pelvic floor and with the diaphragm. Breathing out, elbows out, and then coming back down again. So we'll come this way. So you can see we're squeezing glutes to come up and then drop down. Squeezing glutes. Now don't pop your pelvis forward. Keep your bum slightly behind you. Squeeze and come down. That's it. And down. Shoulders are right down. You're activating the muscles between your shoulders, all around the shoulders, and down. And really working on pelvic floor and all the stabilizing muscles around the pelvis. Good. And just going to release from that one, coming back to the side. So you can do this straight after side plank. Come up, pull the elbow and the hip towards each other. So you've got this activation through your obliques. Turn your toes, and you want to draw up through the pelvic floor and your lower belly as if you're zipping up those tight high-waisted jeans. Breathing out with a puffy breath, and then see if you can get this adductor muscle activating. Great for toning. Once you're getting a bit stronger, adding a weight to that. Breathing out. It's really important that you go pelvic floor, deep core, then a fraction of a second later, the adductors activate. And making sure that this stays really active. We're not just kind of doing that. Won't do anything for us. Active, active, active. Pelvic floor, lower belly active. Then this lifts. Good. So doing that on both sides, and then come into a cobbler and just release your inner thighs. Let your belly be nice and relaxed. You might take your legs wide and do some circles. So you go right into the inner thighs, into the hamstrings as well. Wake them up. We're about to activate them. If you're doing this, you might even add your arms in. So just pushing pause with any of these so that you can do a bit more. This is a really nice way to release lower belly, release into the inner thighs. Beautiful. Alrighty, so we're going to come up through downward facing dog. Come into cat and cow to start off with. So hands directly under shoulders. Lift the tail, tuck the tail. Breathe in to lift, breathe out to tuck. So just focus on tail lifting, tail tucking. Do a few of those. And then once you've got the pattern through your pelvis, ripple that movement right up through your spine, right to the crown of your head. So you can feel that lovely movement right through your shoulders. You've been squeezing, now releasing them. So doing a few of these. If you have pelvic tension issues, you want to add in some circles. I love a good circle. Take it right up into the shoulders. You want stability, but also mobility. So, again, pushing pause, doing as much of this as feels good. And then when you're ready, we want to take the knees off the ground, pushing down and out with our hands. So I like to imagine there are plates under the hands and you're sort of spinning the plates. Lift the tail back and up as high as you can. Roll shoulders away from your ears. Then start to press the heels down. So we go into the calf muscles, the hamstrings. The key with down dog is the spine lengthening. This is a great way just to recalibrate. Long, big sigh breaths out. Give your head a shake. Just make sure you're not creating congestion around your neck and shoulders. And you come forward into a squat with our toes out to the side. So opening up those inner thigh muscles that we've been strengthening. Make sure you don't tuck under. Keep your sitting bones nice and high. That's it. So Malasana is one of those functional movements that we want to make sure that we keep in our repertoire. Fantastic. I'm going to get you to bring your toes in, fold yourself down, let everything hang for a minute, and then push the floor away. And we're going to come into a squat. So I'm going to take weights again for this. So first of all, we're going to zigzag here, and just like when I was down on the ground, my rib cage is drawing in, so this is all activating. Shoulders away from the ears. We just wake up the back of the body again, little squeezes backward, the elbows close into the sides of the body, and then we're going to do some squats. Now we've got some options here. First of all though, let's look at the feet. We want to have them hip width apart, maybe a bit wider, toes straight forward, weight is mainly in the heels, behind is behind me. I like to imagine I've got a kangaroo tail sliding down towards the ground there. Wide toe base and pushing down and out with the feet so the inner arches don't collapse in. Dropping down. Now, if we are working on posture, let's just keep the arms behind us, slightly behind us like that. And we're going to push the floor away to come up. So we're dynamically pressing the heels into the ground and getting those bum muscles to squeeze in towards sitting bones. But you can see I keep my body on a tiny angle here. I'm not popping up like that. And breathing out to come up. Just check pelvic floor. So breathe out, come up, and then release your pelvic floor. Just relax everything once you come up. So we've got this version, or we might start to use weights like this. You've got to go slowly and get the movement through your legs, and then as you bring the movement up through to your pelvis and your torso, then take the arms up. Breathing out the whole way, breathing out, and then making sure when you finish, you release your pelvic floor muscles. So just doing as many of those as feels good. And then we want to release everything. So take your hands on your hips, hula hooping your hips. If you actually have a hula hoop, even better. Fantastic for toning, for releasing the psoas, for getting good vascular flow around the pelvic area. So one direction, other direction, and I love a little bit of an Elvis twist. So just letting the hips release with your Elvis twist. Okay, so we're going to come into our Tadasana, our mountain pose, and then a little bit of extra strengthening around here. So toes straight forward, pushing down and out with your feet, and we start to squeeze thigh muscles into thigh bones. So you want to feel a little bit of activation up into your bum. Feels like everything's lifting slightly, and we need to let the shoulders slide into the back of the sockets, thumbs forward, hands, imagine you've got weights in your hands and they're just kind of drawing you down. Chin back, imagine a mother cat has picked you up by the scruff of the neck, so you don't drop your chin, but the bottom of your nose and the bottom of your chin here are parallel with the ground. A little bit of a double chin. Base the rib cage in, so it feels like that area just above the bra strap, and just below the bra strap, right there, it's kind of pushing back slightly. Good, so coming into your alignment, like so. Now, squeeze your thigh muscles on one side. This is my left leg. Squeezing thigh muscles. So you want to go into that thigh bone. Slightly bend the standing leg and plug yourself down through the heel. So most of the weight is in the heel. Let's take the other foot out to the side. We're going to gluteus medius now, so the top of the bum. And every time you breathe out, we're doing a little zip up here. And I want you to see if you can squeeze the top of your bum and just lift the toe off the ground. We keep the torso straight. You might need to put a finger or nail on the wall, and you imagine you've got a string from the crown of your head drawing you up. This is a good one to do while you're brushing your teeth. And then try this, keeping the torso straight, so it doesn't matter how high your foot is. Turn the toes out to the side. Imagine you've got a ball, and every time you breathe out, you are kicking the ball up. Slight bend in the standing leg, squeezing thigh muscles into thigh bone. So I'm just going to pause there, but just keep going with this. You want to go just beyond fatigue. And then do that on both sides. Release through the hip joint, release the bum. Nice little bit of Elvis twisting. So prep on both sides, And then you're going to do crocodile crunch. Crocodile crunch is a wonderful strengthening exercise. You can add hand weights, and I'll do some light hand weights here for this one. So we come back into our Tadasana. This is how we want to feel with our shoulders dropping down, as if we're holding weights. Weight is in the heels, base of the ribcage drawing down. You can do this on the other side. So opening up our crocodile jaws, keep the ribcage drawing down, and then breathing out, knee comes up, breathing in. Now toe will need to go into the ground initially, and see if you can slide it behind you. So we need to let our dristi, our eye gaze, be really relaxed. Softening the muscles around your eyes, softening the muscles between your eyebrows. Let your cheeks be relaxed. Use your breath. Slower you go, the harder it is. Keep that standing knee, the knee of the standing leg, a little bit bent, a tiny bit bent. So that's crocodile crunch. We'll do that on both sides. That's one of those getting lots and lots of bang for your buck. And then just make sure you release, do your Elvis release, your hip circles, and then drop yourself down. Take one arm across the body, lock it into place. Just give yourself a gentle release through the neck here, back of the arms. You're pulling out with the straight arm, pulling in with the bent arm. Nice open chest, shoulders down, other side, release. That's it. Good. And then down like this, rinse your shoulders, one shoulder and then the other shoulder. Breathing out as you do this one. And then once you've done that and you feel like you've got a good kind of rinse out through the shoulders, come into a bit of an inner thigh stretch. So you start off like this, or you could even start off inline skating and then pause and bring your toes up. If you're much more flexible, start to bring yourself down towards the ground. Your toes up. That's it. Good. So making your way down to the ground. Now it's nice to finish any practice with a twist to just reinvigorate everything. And then I'm going to do a relaxation with a belt. So you can grab a belt so I can show you how to do that. So coming onto your back. Let's stretch out both sides of the body. You want to lengthen the fascia. Arms out to the side, dropping the knees to the side, looking over the other shoulder. I always say, a twist a day keeps the chiropractor at bay, yeah? Other way. Whoa. Keeps constipation at bay. Twists are fantastic for us. Midlife ladies, as we start to lose our estrogen, just making sure everything stays mobile. Alright, so spending a bit of time in twisting. You might want to roll up and down your spine a few times as well. Just massage up towards your shoulders. Maybe you can bring your shoulders underneath the body, coming into a supported bridge. That just helps to release everything. And then this practice is a lovely way just to drop into the parasympathetic nervous system. You want to get a yoga belt and buckle up so that we have a loop. So buckle the belt and then make sure the buckle is on the side, and you hook your feet, the balls of the feet, into the belt, and then take the belt just behind your head, just above your ears. They sit there snugly. Shoulders away from ears, palms up, and then you gently draw the feet down towards the ground. So we traction into the back of the neck, a good stretch here. And you just rest here. And the idea is to focus on a soft but long exhalation. Closing the eyes, staying here for as long as it feels good. I like to also take one foot out, bend the knees so that the sacrum at the back of the pelvis stays nice and even. And then, especially if you have got tight neck, if you take the foot out to the side, be super careful with this obviously. You can get a nice stretch out. Then you want to have the palm up and gently pull those fingers away from you. Soft breathing. So just staying, having a play with that. Obviously, be super mindful and be kind to your body. So I'm just going to pause that there. I would stay for a good 5 minutes in that, just having a play with lengthening the neck, cradling the head, and then another lovely way just to open up the spine and gently stretch into these pectoral muscles is to get a bolster and have a play with either bottom on the ground or on the folded blanket, lying back with arms out to the side. You might need to get pillows underneath your arms, maybe even above your head. And in this position, maybe even knees out to the side, if that feels all right. I tend to prop so everything feels like it's resting on something. In this position, try doing a double breath in. So you breathe in through the back of your nostrils, and then a bit of extra breath, and then you slowly let the breath go. And I like to say the breath out is silk-like. So imagine a silk ribbon. It's just unfurling, slow, gentle, full exhalation. And then when you're ready for the next inhale, you breathe in, spreading the breath out into the ribcage, out sideways, and then you take another little bit of a breath in, so you double breathe in, and then soft, full exhalation. This is incredibly calming on the adrenals. It takes us into a state of replenishment, calm for the mind, and it's great for digestion. It's opening up the psoas, opening up these pectoral muscles, helping us to readjust posture. Good. So I'm going to come out of this now, but staying in that position for about 5 minutes. And with this video, just stopping on each exercise and just making sure your technique is good and just doing the exercise until your body feels like that's enough, and then try and do one more. Give yourself a stretch out and then go on to the next one.